All right, we have an interesting game here in which statistics and the result don't really match up. In this game, I had a paltry 37.6% accuracy, and my opponent had a 48% accuracy, but I won the game. So I played black in this game. According to the analysis, most of the rest of the statistics are basically even, but it says throwaway, nice comeback win. I think it claims my opponent missed 3 opportunities, and I even made more blunders. But to me, this was a very tactical game, so let's go through it. So my opponent opened with the king pawn. I hit back with c7, c5, Sicilian defense. Okay, hitting the center, hitting the center. These are all book moves. Here, I thought this guy, he wasted some time here because I can just kick it out, which I do with the pawn, and I look to gain some space here. So here, it's a very interesting position. He moves his king here, and if you notice, it's pinned by its own pawn, and I have a bishop aimed right at it. So that's the basis for some of my subsequent tactics. So I castle out, it moves over, and when it moves over again, it's aiming toward this pawn. Although I have it protected, to me, it's an opportunity to get the king to move, the queen to actually move again. Anytime you can start maneuvering your opponent's queen, you're gaining tempo or time. So that's precisely what I do here. And even though it questions the move, he's got to move. He could push this pawn up too, but instead he moves again. Here, again, another tactical play. If pawn takes pawn, the queen goes for a long sleep. So, again, moves out the knight, misses the tactic. I think I take the pawn. I do. And it starts to open up a little bit for me. Now here, again, the queen is attacking another pawn. So what do? I just, even though, again, the computer's calling it a blunder, I just keep aiming for the king, for the queen. So I know that that's going to yield some dividends. So it takes on the other side, and now I push the pawn. Again, I'm giving away another pawn if it wants it, but there's just a lot of firepower aiming toward this queen. Hopefully dividends which will pay off. Okay, so now it comes down over here. He's trying to double up on this pawn. So now I block that doubling, okay? Comes down, attacks my piece. Now it again says a blunder, but I'm doubling on this, even though it's defended. I still think the tactics are pretty good, and again, I'm aiming right for the queen. Okay, supplements the knight here, and I push up the center. All right, let me just move the cat out of the way, which you can't see on the board. And I push up the center, and to me that's a blunder. Because again, look at all my pawns controlling the center of the board. So next, I do this. Again, it says it's a blunder, but it's a discovered attack against the queen. It could have, the other side could have checked me here, but then I would have exchanged off and won a piece. So if you look at this tactic here, I think I'm winning either way. Knight goes over here to fork my pieces. I take, win it back. Knight's over here. Looks like it's being attacked. But look what I have here. An attack over here. So he apparently saw the queen move. You know, he saw the bishop takes. So I do what I just said. Beautiful fork. Okay. Forced to move, check. Takes the rook. Now he's coming down on this pawn. Probably a good move, but I can supplement it with the bishop, which I do. Again, it's called a blunder, but I think it's required to protect my kingside pawn here. Takes, protects, finally does the fork. It's tagged as a blunder, I think because of the tactics that are here. But let's see what happens. Okay, obviously I don't want my queen taken, so I guess he just takes the bishop. And I purposely moved my king out of the way because of this pin over here. I think there's just more useful things I could do here. We have another check. Now I move up, still away from the pin, but somewhat protected. Okay, again, doubling up over here, all I can really do is bring in my closest piece. So it's attacked twice, defended twice, but defended by my queen. Another opportunity are the two pieces over here to remove the defender. Okay, comes in here. I think that's a bad move because it's blocking this, blocking the whole point of making the attack on the bishop very meaningful. And I guess it's a way maybe to bring my queen out of the defense if it takes the knight. So I go right for the most forcing variation, which attacks the queen right away and forces a take back, which they do. And it gives me a one move time to bring in my piece to defend against this bishop and against taking the knight by the bishop. Moves out of the way to again have a couple pieces over here. Very cool move, I thought, on my part, because now it's a discovered attack against the queen. Blocks here. I want to get out of that pin and defend my pawn chain here. This is quite an interesting move here. This just forces what I believe. Oh, I interposed. That's an interesting move. I thought I would have taken with the knight, but what I didn't remember is I actually interposed the bishop, so that again this is sort of hanging out. Takes, and go back. Takes the queen, and I give up some material, but the queen's off the board, and it's looking like I'm at an advantage for sure with the pawns and the material. But can I convert it? Yes, I can. I move the king out of harm's way, and now we just need to harass the king a little bit and try to win some material. So I snatch a couple pawns. He's trying to find his only way, which would be promoting this pawn to get back in the game. A nice check, another check, a check, and this is going to be all she wrote because this just wins the rook, and my opponent would have no material chance, and mate would be forthcoming. So this was a very good tactical exam here, and an exam or example in how time can work for your benefit. Another Hodge production.